can't we have a bounded set and a centered set? I mean, why do we even need to have this language to help people see that? Does it help? Does it harm? Because some people still are confused.
Well, I would just say that the bounded set forces you in evangelism to ask questions that make you feel very uncomfortable and make the other person feel very uncomfortable. If you're going to get right up in the grill and say, do you want to pray this prayer today?
Right
That's a
now,
little
right
uncomfortable.
now.
Yeah, right now, you know, then you're going to hell. And so, but the other questions about centered set get really to the crux of what you're hoping they become. So I think of the story of the rich young ruler, right?
Yeah.
Where Jesus asked two questions, right? Remember the first question, have you obeyed the commandments? Because he's asking, you know, that question
Yeah.
for life.
Good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?
Yeah. So Jesus asked, well, have you obeyed the commandments? And he says, yes, I've done those since my youth. Now, for a youth, a Jewish youth, there's a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah where they have to cross over. So what he's saying is, in the bounded set kind of thinking, yeah, I crossed that line, so I'm in the set, right? But Jesus goes to the centered set type of paradigm and says, well, you need to give all you have to the poor and then come follow me. Jesus doesn't say that to anybody else. The reason is he knew that was what prevented him from making Christ the center of his life. Okay? So for every individual, you're saying, what's preventing them from making Christ the center of his life? For the rich young ruler, it was those riches. It may not be for others because Jesus never uses that same kind of formula, so to speak, for anybody else. So Jesus uses the centered set type of thinking, and I think we get better traction that way, where we're asking people or trying to identify what is preventing them from making Christ the Lord, Christ the center of their life, as opposed to do they have fire insurance by stepping over a certain line and therefore they live any way they want after that.
Do you see the centered set taking on a whole new level in churches in the West today?
How do you mean?
Well, I think is that the more of the movement of our culture where people are starting to see that a lot of the other view is not where people are living per se. So in that bounded set idea, I think what I'm seeing is people are tired of that. They see the inconsistency, they see the hypocrisy, they see the scandals, and they're saying, what's wrong? And we're saying, well, part of it is that we've got this idea wrong. You know, we've forced this kind of on people rather than understanding the process by which people are growing and are they moving toward Jesus? That's the real issue, because people they don't like that. I don't want to say inconsistency where they go, am I in or am I not? And it's like, well, yes. I mean, the fact you're asking that question tells me yes, but that doesn't mean that that's an excuse to go do whatever you want. The question is, are you following Jesus? That's the issue. It's where is your heart state right now?
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. Oh,
go ahead.
And
I
would just say that's right on, you know, because I think, you know, one of the beautiful things about the centered set too, is it talks about transformation, an ongoing transformation, instead of just a one-time transaction. And so that one of the problems, one of the challenges for the church today is that Christianity is kind of this, hey, check the boxes, but those boxes are not touching the life issues in the life of the people. And so that whole thing of like, how do I have this ongoing transformation? I seem to be doing all the things the church is asking, and I'm just not seeing anything going on in my life or in my reality around me. And so having the centered set, we are constantly reevaluating and looking and examining, hey, am I moving towards Christ? Man, it's just it is transformative, and it really changes, like Jay said, it really changes the questions you ask. And it moves away from that whole idea of like, I have to get to some point of transaction, you know, or make the sale, like we were saying earlier. I have to make the sale in order for it to be something significant.
Yeah,
So
for those who are indifferent.
yes,
right?
yeah.
You know, they want to belong to some community and they want to have a purpose in that. If they're going to belong to a community, that's different than stepping over a line and then people ignore them, right? Belonging to a community means that they're vested, they're in it, they're a part of that community, and that community has greater purpose than what they're living for right now, and therefore they're yearning for that. They're not looking to like jump over a line and sign a statement, so to speak, and then those people leave them alone. That's not very attractive. That's not what they're
No.
yearning